In a lecture given in this city, John Ruskin remarked, "Of all the cities in the British Islands, Edinburgh is the one which presents most advantages for the display of a noble building, and which, on the other hand, sustains most injury in the erection of a commonplace or unworthy one. You are all proud of your city. Surely you must feel it a duty in some sort to justify your pride, that is to say, to give yourselves a right to be proud of it." The report recommends the application, but I ask that you reject the recommendations, and there are sound planning grounds to do this, along with Ruskin's reminder of your role in the reputation of this city. The Urban Design Panel gives design advice prior to proposals being finalised. Its aim is to raise the quality of new buildings, streets and spaces in Edinburgh. It does this by reviewing schemes and giving reports on them. These reports help designers, developers and planners improve their plans. It met with the developers on 28 March 2018 and reported remarks from the meeting that the panel encouraged the development of the heritage historical analysis for the site, particularly in respect of the existing two-storey red sandstone buildings on Leith Walk and the contribution they make to the character of the conservation area. The panel noted that these buildings provide impressive animation to Leith Walk and contribute to the Leith community. The panel noted that this heritage historical work could inform the starting point for a design for the site, particularly the Leith Walk frontage. The panel further expressed concern at the proposed demolition of the existing buildings on this frontage and replaced with a linear block which appeared to be a very dominant insertion into the street and surrounding context. The panel noticed that this frontage should take reference and be in keeping with the context of this part of the street. The Leith Conservation Character Area Appraisal states that the demolition of unlisted buildings considered to make a positive contribution to the area is only permitted in exceptional circumstances. Historic Environment Scotland does not consider that the information provided justifies the demolition, as there is no structural or actual impediment to reusing the building besides financial considerations. Look at their remarks in your papers. On policy grounds, you should object to the application to demolish Policy EMV5, Conservation Areas, Policy EMV6, Development, Policy DES 1, Design Quality and Context, Policy DES 3, Development Design, Policy DES 4, Development and Design, Policy DES 5, Development Design Amenity, Policy RET 1, Town Centres First Policy, Policy RET 3, Town Centres. In respect of the application itself, you should reject the application. The report in its narrative from our Economic Development Department remarks that there will be a decreased economic development impact as detailed in your papers. Its negative impact versus the positive impact of what happens there now, despite the aggressive lease management that pushed out the oldest established business, the bedshed. The current offer here is unique, adding to the vibrancy and is a product and a place of canny and small businesses. The report recommendations state that the proportion of the site to be developed for student accommodation is a justified infringement of the student housing guidance. No, it's not. The relatively limited provision of Class 4 business space as part of the overall mix accords with the Stairs Place Jane Street development brief and is a justified exception to the LDP policy EMP9. No, it's not. There are other sound policy grounds to object. Policy EMV5, Conservation Areas, Policy EMV2,
you have a minute left.
Policy EMV6, Development, Policy DES 1, Design Quality and Context, Policy DES 3, Development Design, Policy DES 4, Development and Design, Policy DES 5, Development Design Amenity, Policy RET 1, Town Centres First Policy, Policy RET 3, Town Centres, Policy HOW 8, Student Accommodation, Policy TRA 2, Policy TRA 3, Policy TRA 9. I return to Ruskin. Of all the cities in the British Islands, Edinburgh is the one which presents most advantages for the display of a noble building and which, on the other hand, sustains most injury in the erection of a commonplace or unworthy one. You are all proud of your city. Surely you must feel it a duty in some sort to justify your pride, that is to say, to give yourselves a right to be proud of it. Reject the recommendations. There are sound planning grounds and policy to do so. Give yourselves a right to be proud.